Welcome to today's episode. We are talking about save yourself. Just save yourself. These are conversations, sacred conversations, and this one I want to particularly just go into that younger version of me. I'm speaking to that younger version of me, that young one who didn't know. And when I mean young, it's not necessarily about age, but it can be related to it. But it's more about the healing and the unhealed wounds of the inner child, because you realize when you grow up that we just kids in adult jumpsuits. We still dealing with our childhood traumas, healing those, but still dealing with adult responsibilities now. So now we have become the parents for ourselves, you know, and your parents have helped you realize what parenting is and what parenting is not in some cases. There's always going to be a two and two. And when I mean not, it's what you would have liked to happen. So if you do ever get an opportunity, you can either do it with kids, but you first have to do it with yourself. Now, today we're speaking about stop trying to save everyone. This has been, it's like a syndrome that we have. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the name could be, but I can reflect on it. The save me complex. I guess it's part of the hero, playing hero, right? So we also have that. But I was reminded today about me trying to save someone. And in me trying to save someone, I was actually trying to save myself. So many, many years ago, when I was in a beautiful relationship and we were just really young, like young. When I think about how much older he was and how old I was, it was just, just young, you know, and we didn't know any better, but we just absolutely adored each other, you know. So it's important to just adore someone really at the end of the day. And no matter what happens afterwards, like, you know, it's life. But we were young. And, anyways, towards the end, I first started going for therapy because I was like, you know, this is clearly something about me. I know no matter what I'm doing for them, it's still not pleasing me. So clearly this is for me. And in my community, like therapy is seen as like, okay, something has gone wrong here. Like, why do you even need therapy? It's there's a slight taboo around needing to talk about your problems. And first and foremost, what problems do you have would be the question. So that's the general consensus is in my community, we don't really talk about problems. And I'm not saying that we are the only types, but it's just when it comes to healing the surrounding issues around the trauma that we've experienced, there's a very, like, let's brush it under the carpet. Like, there's no problems here, you know? So that does hold a lot of toxicity, toxic vibration. You know, there's a lot there. And up until you realize there is toxicity and there is something that's needed to be done about it, then you'll do something about it. Anyways, so I decide I don't want to split from this person because, like, I absolutely adore. And it was just like, but there's just something that is just like us together in this capacity is not working for us, no matter how much we adore one another. So I decide, let me, myself, just go see, like, what is it that I'm not seeing about this situation? Because my emotions are so heavily involved that it feels very challenging to see beyond this thick web that I've, like, submerged myself, you know. So I went for therapy in a couple of sessions, and it was very revealing. And because I love adventure and I love self-mastery and I love getting to know myself and love getting to know people and love getting to know the world around me, and like, what is all this? Not in a sort of I have to know everything, but I'm just like, your being is incredible. I want to find out more. But, with always, when you're in that space, it takes two to tango to also have that mentality. So then I was like, I think it would be important for both of us to be able to share our stories and for me to see, his side. So he agreed, even though, there was a lot of resistance. There was a lot of resistance. But, like anyone, if someone had to tell me, like, there's an intervention, we need an intervention on you, I'd feel like, what? I'd take offense to that, like as if you think there's something wrong with me. So I understood from his aspect. Anyways, we decided we go for therapy. And then I was like, I feel you have stuff to also deal with on your own without me being there. And use her. She was really reasonable at that time. So it was back then. And I was like, okay, cool. Then I'm going to help you like book a session and everything like that. And I remember we had come from a session together. And when he had left and I was like leaving, I just said, oh, so he's willing to come to therapy with you. I'd like to book him a session. And she held me on my shoulder and she looked at me almost like stop, turn around sort of thing. And she, not that I was going, I don't remember, but it was almost like that. I guess I had this, I'm booking for him and everything's going to be sorted out sort of thing. And her hand was on my shoulder and she said to me, don't you dare book for him. Don't you dare book for him. He must come himself. And I was like, okay. And she's like, he must come himself, because if he comes for himself, then he'll be coming for you. But if he doesn't, that means he's not willing. So don't force the issue. Oh my goodness. My heart, like, it sank. I had to face a very harsh reality that I've spoken about in one of my podcasts. I think it was episode 40 or episode 41, one of the two, or 39, really. At this stage, I'm not too sure. Anyways, my heart sank because I knew what I needed to do. And because I was so stuck in the web of these emotions, I couldn't see a life without. It was just like, oh my God, my heart, but my mind and my soul, it's just like they're having all these complete opposite and very strong emotions, like together within your capacity. In this way, it will no longer make sense. And I'm just like, but we had these dreams, we had these visions, or at least maybe I had more of those dreams and those visions for us. And I really wanted to be able to fulfill that with him. And that was such a strong message for me and deep lesson, of which even from that part of my life, there are still so many layers to this, because it's continuous. Like you go one layer and then it's like there's more. And then you go another layer and then it's like there's more and it's more and it's more. And I realized that was one of the times in this circumstance that no one was coming to save me, that I really had to save myself. And the saving of myself was removing myself from this web and this matrix that had kept me separate from the divine, completely separate and in deep war with myself. And the reality was just like, I have to save myself. Like I looked at, my guardians, siblings, and everyone around me. And I was just like, if I clearly need to save myself, they're also looking for someone to save them. And then it's just like, well, if everybody still thinks they need to be saved, and I know for sure, I have to choose to save myself, then this rat race is going to go on, and the wheel is going to turn on and on and on forever and ever and ever. And if I continue, we're dying anyways, but wouldn't you rather die joyful? Die knowing that you've had your fullest human experience. So you have to save yourself. And there's so many different layers because you learn it in home. You learn it like with your first love of your life. Then you work it with love of your life. And then it's work. Then it's life. And then it's finance. And then how all of that affects your health. You realize you have to save yourself. You have to choose you. And I keep using this example of a mom being on a plane. When a mom is on a plane with her child and the child needs help with anything, the parent is always guided, ma'am, sir, because I can use dad too, please put on your mask first before you help. Because if you think about it, if anything has to happen and you don't have enough oxygen to help someone or your baby, and this was an oxygen mask, I think. So it's like, if you're trying to help your baby first, but you don't have enough oxygen, you and your levels of concentration to be able to have greater capacity for holding space to help your baby in any case of extreme events, then your intuition is clearer to kick in, so that within that intuition, using that natural state of fight or flight that is necessary in those situations, you have the capacity to help. But if you don't have that, then all you're doing is going loop, de loop, de loop, de loop, de. They're trying to save themselves. They're trying to save themselves. They're trying to save themselves. You think, they're looking for someone to save them. They're looking for someone to save them. They're looking for someone to save them. You're looking for someone to save you. And then you're just in this loop. And it's this weird continuous cycle. And you start watching and you start observing this play with actors just loop, de-loop, 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 de, up until you get it. Because physically, we might have forgotten, but spiritually, you know something's off and something's off. It's just because your surroundings and your conditioning, which will allow the continuation of this loop, will keep you bound up until you decide. And then the tension will build up in your body where it starts getting to the point where you need to decide, I have had enough. I have had enough of this loop. I have had enough of this pretense. I have had enough of waiting on others in order for me to live my life. I am choosing to save myself. So it's a love, self-mastery is not only a love movement that we know, let's just love and light and stuff like that. No, the love movement is a like movement, because when you like yourself, you love yourself. And I always just say this with people who are interested to hear. If you're going into a relationship, this is such an important thing that I never knew was necessary. Make sure that you first like yourself and then like the person. Because in the daily chores, when life gets tough, and then that person that you saw in those first couple of 3 months before you moved in, or however long it took, is now really allowing themselves to be free, and then you start seeing certain habit patterns that weren't of the image that they presented themselves to you in order to lure you in through your unhealed wounds for the both of you. Because I need you to save me, so I'm going to present myself in this way because that looks like a person who's going to be able to save you and your image and protect your heart and whatever else. And you do the same. And then lives. Right? Like lives. Because now the image has to come back to the reality and the idea, and you have to tap into, do I like this person? Because when you allow yourself first to see the non-pretty parts, like to really see them, then you allow yourself to use them to your greatest advantage. And when you do that and you're saving yourself, then you're naturally saving other people. But to try get someone to do something, it's like that saying, you can't take a horse, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. It's that exact same thing. And I shared this recently. I want to share it again. I just said, you can only be there for people who want to be there for themselves. Like, do you understand? That's self-mastery. It's loving all of you, whatever you have classified as good, bad, and ugly. And it's you allowing yourself to be revealed on the deepest level possible. And it takes courage. So I look at, the people who I'm currently working with, and I'm just like, I'm here for you because you really want this. You really want to get out and you need help, and you are willing to receive help, because when you are willing to receive help, you are willing to receive yourself. Do I need to say that for the people in the back? Oh man. I hope that sunk in. I hope that sunk in. So the self-mastery work is not about escaping and bypassing the discomfort, because that thing that you're escaping to there is momentary. Exactly like the discomfort. That's the thing. In fact, what becomes momentary through the discomfort becomes longer in the joy. Do you understand? It's like you feel the discomfort and you see it because it's allowing you to be contracted to propel you forwards. It's almost like a slingshot. It will really pull you back so that when you sling and you sling and you sling right back, You look so ahead to that target, and it becomes the most clearest shot that you can make in that moment. That's what is happening. But in this case, because we've been taken by the divine, God, the universe, your spirit guides, ancestors, all of it working together, pulling you back, there is no way that failure can ever exist. Do you understand? Because energy is just going to redirect you softly. It will connect you to me. It will connect you to somebody else. It will connect you to the next person. It will connect you to the next person. And all we're doing is weaving together. We're weaving ourselves back together with love, in love. So that when you are living, you're making love to life. And it doesn't have to be a sexual thing, although it can. But when you are making love to life, you are so present and immersed in the experience and understanding the art. Because self-mastery is an art to living. It's using meditation and movement in the most mundane tasks through the repetition to be able to meditatively and mindfully be here now, in between when there are certain triggers that are related towards the past that are calling you in from the future to heal now. And now, through each in-breath and out. If you can join me, take a deep breath. And exhale. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Thank you for joining this journey with me. My name is Mandulo. Please do like, share this with a friend, and subscribe to the channel so that more people who need to hear this sort of advice can receive it and also just be saved. If you feel called to work with me, one-on-one session, it's basically learning about, like, it's self-mastery coaching. That's the word. I like that. Self-mastery. Self-mastery coaching. If you want that, if you want assistance with knowing how to master yourself, master your emotions. I love transformation, and I just love seeing how people transform. It's just, it's just like, oh man, it's transformation is one of the most beautiful gifts because it's alchemy. It's learning alchemy. And I would love to be part of your transformation, but I need you to want to save yourself, because I can't pull you in. I can't pull you in. I need you to want to be there for yourself. And then all I do is help show you how to be there for yourself. But better to show up so that you can respect yourself more and feel the love that comes from respecting yourself. It's really divine and delicious, and it's all sorts of things, but it comes with such discomfort. But when you learn the language of what discomfort is communicating, it's simply information to help you move forward and helping you realize what you don't want. So you never don't know what you do want. Come learn the self-mastery with me. And join this community of people who have mastered the masters. Yeah. Fellow masters of self. Join in. And you can just email me. We can work together. If you have a corporate session too, if you want to do corporate sessions, or you want to do like group sessions with your friends, and there's like healing with your relationship, your partner, you can do that. You can just invite me in, and it's a conversation, and it's breath through a journey in storytelling. That's one way. And then we could also do it in like movement. If you in person, sound, although I am getting assistance with doing this online, like offering sound baths and healing journeys online. So that is all coming. And what else? Yeah, please save yourself and become your own master. So I'm going to love and leave now before I start adding in more things that I don't need to. Okay, bye.